Welcome back to the channel. This is RetroDog34, and in this week's video, I want to talk about Update 32. So this past Friday, Bethesda did a Twitch live on their channel at twitch.tv/Bethesda, where they showcased Update 32. Not everything that's coming to us on Update 32, but a couple little tidbits. And one of those things that is coming to us is the Armory system. Now, if you're on PC, you already have this for your with one of your add-ons, but for us console players, we don't have this, and I'm dying to get into it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so we have the Armory. This Armory station is, lack of a better term, it's a way that you could do loadouts or save your character, right? So loadouts have been in a lot of new MMOs. When I played Neverwinter on the Xbox and on PC, we were able to do loadouts, and that actually came later on in the game. And this is just one of the ways that ESO has decided that they want to go ahead and go forward with this. And this is actually a really innovative way of doing this. What they did is, one, they allow you to go back to your house, and everybody has access to their house, and be able to place this station there and actually set it up for your armory so you can build your characters. So you get 2 free builds right off the bat. So those are the 2 builds that you get. So the way this works is you could do all your skills, attributes, gears, champion points, curses, like if you're a werewolf or if you have a build for a vampire, you can get those set up. It will even save your outfits. So one of the things I was kind of like curious about is, as I'm setting this up, when I do like a Templar, so you guys will see my video on my Templar tank. Well, one of the key things that I want to do is, maybe if I'm getting ready to run a certain dungeon, I want to set one of my tanks up to play it this way and another one to play it that way. So that way I actually might be able to set up each one of these different builds. So build 1, build 2 that I get for free as, like, say, Cloud Rest, and then another one for Sunspire, right? And that way I could just quickly load these out. This is actually really convenient for players. This is one of these quality of lives that I definitely think that has been lacking as far as the different builds or different things in the game. And you can actually they just showed that you can actually set different icons for what type of build you have. That way you could set a different icon for each one of them. So this again is actually a really innovative way of setting up your characters without spending a lot of money on going back to the shrines and going ahead and morphing abilities and changing abilities and setting this up and then changing equipment, carrying all this equipment. But here's one of the key things, though, from this, what I've gathered, is you have to have the equipment on you for it to be able to recognize it. If you have a build that does not have that piece of equipment in your inventory, not in your bank, you can't have it in your bank, you can't have it in your guild bank, it's actually got to be in your character's inventory. It will show up red, and that red will be highlighted, and all you have to do is then go into your bank, pick it out, and then put it there. This system is actually really cool, and it's actually I'm looking forward to doing it. But there's 2 big things that are coming out of this from what I understand, and as more information comes out this week, because that's going to go onto the PTS servers. So the Mundus Stones, it's not going to translate the Mundus Stone. So whatever Mundus Stone that you have, that's going to carry over for all your builds. So like in tanks, I use the Atronach. That Atronach Mundus Stone is going to be there. I can't change that. So that's definitely something that you have to be aware of when you're putting these builds together. So the biggest thing, another one that comes to mind is we only get 2 of these. Although you could get more when you buy them from the store. So you could actually, in theory, get a bunch, up to 10 of these. So that's from what the devs have stated, you can get 10 of these builds and have them all for one character, which is actually really convenient. But, from a tanking perspective, that actually comes into a challenge, because I already carry around a bunch of tanking sets just for one tank for different situations, different trials, and different events that I go into. So carrying even more equipment for, like, if I wanted to switch it over to a DPS, doesn't make sense for me. So what I'm thinking of doing it and using this for is only, say, like my Templar tank. I will go ahead and set it up for the different trials, making sure that I have different equipment on it. And so when I go into a different trial or different dungeon, I could quickly swap to that and boom, I'm already all set. All my stuff's already aligned. Truthfully, the attributes aren't going to change, and neither are the champion points, but my skills could change, and so will my armor and weapons. So those are the big takeaways from that. Now, there's a couple other caveats that the devs talked about that aren't going to work, is if you're going into a timed trial type of event where you're doing timed events. And they also mentioned arenas. So like Dragonstar Arena, it's a timed event. You can't change your armor out of there. Or Maelstrom Arena, you can't change your armor. So you're not going to be able to do this on the fly. And that's actually something I really wanted to talk about because I just kind of gave you guys a hint. So we're going to jump right into this next part. This guy, his name is Grusharak. He is our armory assistant. So this assistant can interact with us in most battlefields. So like I was mentioning earlier, there's going to be some limitations that he's not going to be able to assist us with. And I mentioned earlier, like timed events, like the arenas, he will not be able to jump in there and assist us with that. And even into some trials, he won't be able to assist us. And especially into PvP. I could definitely see this guy getting abused in PvP. I mean, imagine going into PvP, pulling out this guy, and then just hot swapping your armor or weapons or builds, and then just go ahead and set up a bomber build, go up and blow up, and then come out and res, and then switch it back to a DPS Magicka build. That I can definitely see getting exploited all types of over the Cyrodiil. That would just not do well. Battlegrounds would be another one that you cannot interact with him based on what the devs are saying right now. And I truthfully do not see them going forward with this guy. So again, this guy is going to be able to interact with us. We're going to be able to interact with him in the field, and to include our companions will be able to interact with him. So we'll be able to do different builds. And that's kind of actually interesting. So we're going to have builds for our different companions. So Bastion might not just have to stay a tank. We could actually turn him into a DPS depending on the role that we went ahead and switched up for our characters. That's actually really kind of interesting. So I'm kind of looking forward to playing around with this on the PTS server. I don't know about you, but this definitely is spicy. I am definitely looking forward to this. So a couple of other things I want to definitely talk about this. The Armory Station, based on what the devs are saying, is you're going to be able to place this in your house and be able to change out any of your attributes, skills, etc. Right? So thinking about this actually helps, especially people like our content creators like myself, where we create builds. This is actually going to help us expedite quite a bit of that. So I could actually put together build videos now based on different ways I could set up and run different content. So, and I'm just thinking about this right now. This is actually really kind of interesting. So based on the different content that I run, say I'm running a Cloud Rest +3, and this is the build setup I have, I could either show you, well, this is the build I would have for portals. This is the build that I have for main tanking. This is the build I have for maybe DPSing or off tanking. It all depends on how it went, and I would end up using it. Even for some of my, overland characters where I'm setting a crit build, my crit sword, and then I want to switch them over to a Maelstrom sword. So I could quickly swap between those two before I go into Maelstrom, not during Maelstrom. And that would be kind of interesting. So right now the devs showed us everything as far as like what the Xbox UI look like. This is actually what the UI looks like for the PC. This is of course different. This is more drop down instead of toggle over and select. So this is actually kind of interesting in how they went ahead and set this up. So like you guys, I am really looking forward to this. This is actually one of the most intriguing things I've seen come to the game recently. And like a lot of MMOs that I've played in the past, this is always one of those things that gets added later in the life cycle of the game. This is a quality of life that ends up getting added, I want to say at least maybe 4 to 5 years into a game's life cycle. Always, I hope you guys have found this video helpful, especially with the new update 32 coming and with the armory system. So I definitely wanted to jump in on this and make this video. But like always, if you guys haven't hit that subscribe button, it definitely helps me out and helps out my channel and the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't, hit that bell notification to get notified when I do updates. I'm trying to add YouTube shorts into the mix now and trying to give you guys some gaming clips of different games that I'm playing, not just ESO. So also you could follow me over at twitch.tv/RetroDog34 and on Instagram at RetroDog34. I also do daily updates on TikTok, and you can find me over there at RetroDog34. I try to make things easy, especially as you know, I'm trying to build something here. And a huge shout out to everybody that hit that subscribe button. I definitely appreciate it. So like always, happy adventuring in Elder Scrolls Online.